everyone, and welcome to this astrology chat today. We're going to be talking about the air element and all of the co-insecting zodiac signs. And I am joined here by my magical friend, Kimberly. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello.
Yes, I'm very excited for our chat today.
Yes, thank you.
As we are both Aquarii.
Aquarii.
Yes.
That's a new one. Yeah, yeah. It's Aquarius season, so
hmm
we'll start out. That's why we're starting out with the air and you know, a lot of knowledge about it, I suppose, a little bit more than maybe the others, but I don't know. I'm confident I can break it down.
Kimberly is the astrology queen, even though she does not call herself that. To me, you definitely are.
Yeah. It's interesting because I have always found it fascinating, and even way back because I've been doing this for a very
Not the dating yourself.
Yeah, I'm not going to. But if we take it way back, and when I was originally started studying, it was in books, and I knew that I understood without the term free will. I understood that this is just know when you know something about yourself, it's almost like knowing your positives and negatives of your personality. It doesn't mean that just because the book says that Aquarius acts like this, you're going to act like this. But what I learned, it has never failed me. Never, ever, ever, ever has it failed me. There are personality traits in every sign that are so fundamental and so much a part of the way people process information and respond to life that it's undeniable. And it's interesting. It's interesting that it is people either believe in it or not. I don't think anyone would call it a science, but it is no fail for me.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't super into astrology in my previous years just because it didn't really speak to me, but recently it's been speaking to me. So I've been getting into it and with clients I can see reoccurring patterns and themes
mhm.
even without me being super in deep, and it really makes it a lot easier to navigate conversations with people, sessions,
Mhm.
everything.
And it's so important to have different types because the way we're doing this series is it's going to be four parts. It's, air, earth, fire, and water. Those different personality traits are so important in the sense that like it makes thing life interesting, and it whereas like 'cause now the trend is human design, which reminded me a lot about astrology, but the more I listen to people talk about it that are really in depth with it, I understood it on a very different level when they expanded out from just the basic personality traits. Like I on Ether Flow's podcast, she had a very educated woman on human design come in, and she was talking about how like when you're in the astral, you have a different human design, and your plants can have human design, like their traits. And I never thought about that, so that opened it up. But yeah, like in human design, I'm manifesting generator. You are too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be
Twins.
that would be the equivalent of like I'm an Aquarius, and so I tend to do things in this way. And um I like having this little foundation, and it's not an excuse for behavior, and it's not but it sure helps explain why um I'm not I okay, we're known as the emotional robots. We are extremely sensitive. We just typically don't show it.
hmm
We cry just as much as everyone else, but you don't see it on our face the way you do like a water sign, where like we're usually the ones that are hurting the water sign's feelings, and we can see it on their face. Whereas if someone's trying to get any kind of I would say with an Aquarius, especially all air signs, but in an Aquarius especially, if you're trying to get a reaction, you're just talking to a stone wall. Where a water sign is not going to shut down. You're going to feel the pain that you're causing, or the hurt that you're causing. And with an Aquarius, they're going to be like, did you, are you somewhere else? Did you
Yeah.
not?
Are you listening to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we still having this conversation? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. In everything reading about Aquarius, like you said, robot or just emotionless, I feel all of the emotions at a very heightened state
Hmm.
all the time. But I do have a deadpan face
Hmm.
when I am experiencing this.
Well, and it's because we process, like everyone as a human being is I heard this explained in such an interesting way the other day. At all times, we really kind of are half out of our body because every all stimulus is coming in through our brain before it hits the avatar. And so your world is actually your consciousness,
Hmm.
and then it gets dropped down into the physical. Unless I I think a few examples where that would be tipped in the other direction is people who are so unhealed and are so easily triggered about the mundane and things that are in their field that they just react right away and they don't even go into their consciousness to try to work out the situation. So that could be
They're more in
slight.
their body,
Yeah, that would
and we're
be,
up
yeah.
here, the
Yeah. And
Aquarians.
not to be mistaken with grounded, but just unfortunately have been shaken to the core by um maybe the way they were brought up or whatever. That's a whole different story. But yeah, so I think when it comes to air signs in general, we are we are idea we are idea people. Okay, so as we continue this conversation, when I'm talking, I'm going to be talking about air signs today, and then I'm going to be talking about the specific air signs as a second part. When I say that we are idea people, that doesn't mean that earth signs aren't idea people or fire signs aren't idea people. It's just that for this topic, I'm going to be almost like making I statements, even though they're generalized. Okay. So, yeah, we're idea people. Everything does process through the mind. We're air signs are social, even though Aquarians tend to be introverted. We definitely have like an Aquarius in particular is the sign of friendship, and the urn that you see as the
Hmm.
glyph, the symbol, is pulling information and knowledge from the universe through the ethers down into an urn and then distributing it through humanity. That's what our glyph is. So at almost every moment in our life, everything is streaming in, processing, and then coming out, And yes, we all have moments when we just, react and it's not our best version of ourselves, but it's hard. It's hard to like really get in there to like
That's interesting. Would you say that Aquarians are kind of more open channels?
I would say
Because
that
one of our main missions is like humanitarianism. And so when
yes.
you were describing like the water flowing
Mhm.
through, it made me think of that.
What's interesting about, like, what, let's focus on Aquarius and then move along. So what's interesting with Aquarians is, yes, we're the sign of social causes, of humanitarianism, of friendship, but we're not hyper personalized people. So yes, we want to help humanity as a whole.
The
So
collective.
we're good at we would run a nonprofit, and then we would hire water signs and earth signs that are very caring and in the now and present and able to help the people that could be going through something traumatic if that's what the nonprofit was about.
Hmm.
Um, we I would say, okay, so one of the other interesting things about astrology, and everybody can just accept this information if it rings true or it doesn't. There's a theory that the sign that our experiences here on Earth, and let's call it like through reincarnation. I have a different view on reincarnation now, and I believe that we come down through our multi-dimensional purpose. But someone who has experienced Earth often would start as an Aries and end as a Pisces. And so they would start um, and live a life as an Aries, as a fire sign, and learn and then come back next as a Taurus, and then come back next as a Gemini, and they would be learning things about what it's like to be here on Earth as that archetype or that type of personality. And then so then you get all the way to the end, which is us. So Aquarius is the second to last sign. You could say with that theory that we have gained so much information about interaction up until that point that everything is being filtered through the lens of 10 lifetimes before us, before we,
Mm,
you know,
I do.
before,
That's a really interesting concept. And we're
yeah,
all about collecting information, like Aquarians. So that would make sense. It's like, okay, we're gonna leave that one for last,
yeah,
and it'd be cumulative.
yes. Oh, it's so, and it's so funny because like anybody that has an Aquarian friend or family member totally understands the Aquarius stare off. Like we are the people that can totally be in the room with you and we don't have to talk. Like we're good. It doesn't make us
I am
uncomfortable.
observing. I'm an
Yeah,
observer.
yeah. And I have all these other things going on too. So um when you get like no reaction or we have a tendency to be very stoic, and that's why we get the reputation of being unfeeling. It's not true at all. It's just that we are able to be so removed and so objective from the current situation, whether it's a catastrophe or it is an emergency or it's an argument or um, the one that can get to me and always get me out of being stoic is like my heart being touched, by cute animals or my son or something like that. Like that, love will get will bring emotions to the surface pretty quickly for me. Um, and but other than that, yeah, we're almost like we're up in the corner of the room observing the situation. And it's
Hmm.
just where we hang out. It doesn't mean that we're not participating or absorbing the information, but we're also applying a bunch of filters. The first one's the bullshit filter. Dude, Aquarians are so quick to understand, so quick because we're not picking you apart and judging. Actually, we're pretty non-judgmental. Like,
It's behavioral pattern recognition.
yeah, oh, facial, like, yeah, big
Yeah.
time. So if somebody is uncomfortable or like our brain is running data.
Yeah, I'm running schematics up here.
Yeah. Like, oh, you look like you just had an expression on your face that I saw on someone's face when they lied to me last week and I caught him in that lie. So that right there tells me that you're lying. Or you seem to be like you're not having eye contact with me, so I'm either maybe I'll look away for a second because my eye contact's pretty intense and that might give you a chance to like get to your point. Like we're thinking about all that stuff while we're actually participating in the conversation too. And
Yeah.
anyone can do this, but it's where we start.
I think that also makes Aquarians really good energy healers
Mhm.
because I have noticed for me and some other ones that I can hear if what you're saying is not matching up with what's in your subconscious or what
Mhm.
your inner children think about you or what your
Yeah.
yourself think about you. It's hearing those like very specific tonalities.
Mhm.
But that's just my data collection.
Yeah. Well, and what people need to remember is that we're not expecting you to lie unless you have before. Like we're not judging you, we're not lumping you in and giving up on you. We're not looking for negativity. We're very objective, very open-minded. Um to to your own self be true, like we coined that phrase, right?
Individuality.
Yeah. So that's not what's going on here at all. We are literally observing we're observing the full picture of what's happening when one sentence is coming out of your mouth,
Yeah, it's
you
also
know?
giving aliens studying humans.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me let me see what's going on with human like
Yeah.
mannerisms. Okay.
Well, and if we want to learn about something, like we'll collect information from conversations, from interviews, from YouTube videos, whatever. But then we do study people a lot, like because a lot of times emotions are really confusing for us. We
Hmm.
we have all them, but we're not really affected by them typically.
Yeah,
Like
we
our
don't embody them the same way.
Yeah, that's not our first reaction. Our first reaction is to just shut down and analyze the situation and then proceed to respond to it. And yeah, I don't think there's a lot of Aquarians that would say they enjoy arguing. That's a waste of time. Small talk's a waste of time. Bullshit's a big waste of time. And so like if you want to talk about life on a grander scale or ancient civilizations or fixations, like interesting, unique and strange stuff, that would be you find an Aquarius for
Hmm.
that. If
Yeah.
you need like we're good at checking in, we're good at we definitely make people feel wanted and needed, but we also run the risk. And this, I've read this and I know I've observed it happening. When we meet somebody, we'll have a really, say we get an opportunity for a stimulating conversation for 15 minutes, right? You're getting our complete focus. Like we're
Locked
present.
in.
Yeah, we're into it. We're present. It's giving us all this new information. It's interesting. It's fascinating. We're animated. There's a major connection in that moment. Well, the next time you see us, if that type of interaction isn't being permitted, you're not going to get that from us. And so you're going to think you did something wrong. Not at all. It's just that we aren't locked in, and so I've learned to be careful with that so that people don't think I'm just dismissing them.
I've had to navigate conversations like that because
Yeah.
when I meet somebody new, I'll be hyper fixating on people. I'm like, I want to know every single thing that makes you you. But then, like
Yes.
you said, once I get enough data collection, I don't
Hmm.
need to be that intense with somebody anymore. And that leads them feeling kind of lackluster. So I've had to, maintain those conversation, what would you call them? Parameters. So it's not so big of a drop
Yeah.
off.
We're also the sign of honesty. So don't ask us for the honest answer unless you don't want to hear it, because we have no problem sharing that.
I have gotten better about saying, do you want me to hold space for you or do you want me to give you advice?
Yeah.
Because my advice is going to be to the point.
Zeroed in. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because we have, we don't know everything, but we have the advantage of being able to offer information from an objective standpoint, which objective means there's no emotion interfering. There's an understanding of how something could make someone feel, but we're collecting the data, we're running it through whatever, and then we're also looking down the timeline at the outcome and how the outcome is going to change your life or affect you or whatever. And so not everybody wants to hear something that profound. Also, if you're in a relationship with an Aquarius, you have to allow them to give you a very unemotional response to questions and not be hurt by that or upset by that, because they're literally just answering your question, and we don't, the quickest way to get rid of us is to push us for a reaction that we're not willing to give you, or to try to get us going, or to try to rile us up, or like the moment we feel manipulated by emotion in any way, that's the quickest way to get us to just completely shut down and most likely leave.
Anxious attachment or clingy behavior.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like how you phrase that though of like it's not even conscientious emotional manipulation because that's just how some people are. They're like, let me give you even more love.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Right.
I need
Oh
love.
God. Yeah. Yeah. That, well, and of course we want love and we give love
Yes, I
back.
didn't
I
mean we
mean,
don't want
no,
love.
but no, please don't. Yeah, don't we're typically not huggers. Can
I
we
am
just
not a
put that
hugger.
out in the universe?
I'm not a hugger.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with us. But you and I are extremely psychic too. And so like
Yeah, we pick up a lot of energy when
Yeah.
people touch
Like
us. Yeah.
you think we have a lot going on here during a conversation. Now you're touching us. Like we're getting way,
Yeah, it's
we're
like
getting way
information
more.
overload.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
never, it's just so rare that I'm the first person to like initiate a hug. Um, but I am
Yeah, I
extremely,
really like you if I'm giving
yeah,
you.
but I'm extremely affectionate with my son
Yeah,
and,
same.
and my partner after 14 years, we basically high five at this point, but okay. So let me break it down now into, so female Aquarians are, okay, Aquarians in general are very independent. They are, we have big personalities if we decide to bring that out, but we will more likely walk in and observe for a while before we release that part of us. Um, we will be the first ones to run and try to help a situation if like we can offer some kind of assistance. Like we're very selfless, like very selfless. Um, if especially an animal or a child needs help. If somebody is like intentionally screwing up their own situation and having an outburst or not adulting, we might stay clear because we just don't have time for that. But we're very good at we're very good at coming in and deflating the chaos.
Hmm.
Like we're very calm in an emergency. We're typically very calm, and so that helps set a baseline when things are going kind of haywire around it. To have this neutral energy come in. That's okay. So um, we are the sign of honesty. There's a weird there's a weird attribute to Aquarian men. Everyone I've met lies. And it's very odd because it doesn't sync up, right? But I think what happens is I think they are so capable of separating maybe, so let's just say like there's an Aquarius man that ends up cheating in a relationship. I think he can talk himself into saying that these are two separate lives and it's okay. Even though there's no logic behind that, they're able to
Like
do that.
over compartmentalization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so and it's typically not like a little white lie or like a little like boasting about their ability or something like that. It tends to be the last thing you expect. Like I could see an Aquarius being one of those men that actually has two families that never find out about each
That's
other.
wild.
Okay. Not every my gay besties, Aquarius man. I love we Aquarian is the one sign that gets along really well with other Aquarians.
Hmm.
But I have never met an Aquarius man that doesn't lie. I haven't quite figured out why. I just thought I'd put that out there. Hopefully, if you're with an Aquarius man or friends or related to one, it's the kind of lie that doesn't affect or upset your life. And just know that our private life, like we have private lives that are so multi-layered and deep down that it would probably be shocking if we ever shared some of
Hmm.
our private thoughts or the depths that we go to or whatever. And so maybe what might happen is maybe the men just sink into one of those and it's almost like they're living in a I don't know. I won't go into I
Not the
just thought I'd
PSA.
yeah, I thought I would just bring that up. I am not accusing well, I guess I am, but it's just it hasn't I because every time I meet an Aquarius man, I'm like, it'll be interesting to find out what you lie about. And it I always
Okay, well, do you think that they're always like conscientious lies, or do you think that sometimes they're like subconscious, or maybe not even lying to other people, but lying to self? Because that can, this big umbrella.
I think they're really good liars. So
Okay.
so they can get away with it because nothing shows on their face. So I think it might just because it's they're capable of getting away with it with very little effort.
Hmm.
And so an unhealed human, and we're here for experiences. So we all start out unhealed, right? So unfortunately, one of the problems with being a human being is if we can get away with something, we will until we get to the point in our life where we're like, I can't be that person anymore. Like just
Hmm.
because it's easier, just because I can get away with it, doesn't mean I should. When you get to that elevated state of consciousness and you stop being that person, I would imagine the lies stop too.
I used to lie a lot. Like before I
Yeah.
was a more healed version of myself because I simply could.
Yeah.
And I could see how
Yeah.
an Aquarian, if they were very manipulative and narcissistic, would be very good at that because of
Mhm.
our compartmentalization and data collection and behavioral
Yeah.
pattern recognition. It'd be very easy to
Yeah.
navigate through conversations with people in a
Yeah.
dishonest way.
Well, over 50% of the presidents have been Aquarians. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
That's okay. Fun fact.
Yeah.
And they're all men.
Yeah. Yes. And all of the trailblazers like Oprah, Ellen,
Hmm.
Arsenio Hall, like people that started something that was not done before and did a really good job with it and took it further. And it tended to be to help the masses. Like those are all Aquarians too. Okay, so we do Aquarians do have a thread of anxiety that runs underneath this robotic system, and then it rears its ugly head when we're overstimulated or too tired or have taken on more than we should. um, the best thing we can the best thing that we can do as a human being is, if it's not 100% yes, it's a no. And I think it takes Aquarians a little bit longer to learn that because we really do want to be of service,
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
there's that.
sometimes I feel like sometimes you probably get into a self-sacrificing paradigm,
Hmm.
Aquarians, or it's like I have to give, even though we're very much we need our own alone time
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah,
not
we're
as about connecting individually often, you can get into those roles of like over giving to the collective to a point of
mhm.
burning self out.
Well, and also because we're rescuers by nature, and we want mental stimulation, so we find the oddballs and we find the people that are unique. And a lot of times the reason they are is because um problems or
Or
whatever.
heavy
And
bouts of trauma or something.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then because we want to help and because we can offer help, sometimes we get a little too um involved and kind of take it on almost like a job, and then
Hmm.
feel like we can't walk away. Because I mean, I one of my one of my biggest relationships, or most life altering relationships, the reason I stayed was because I knew the moment I stepped away that they were going to fall apart. And because I was the one holding all the pieces together, and
Hmm.
that's exactly what happened. But I needed to get out of victim consciousness, and when I finally, I mean, I I wish I would have sped that process up, but whatever. um okay, so the way you can spot an Aquarius is that we all have huge alien eyes every time. Maybe not huge, but they're definitely alien. And there's always going to be something unique about us: makeup, hair, clothing. Even if
Unconventional on the
yeah,
fringe.
yeah, even if they're more of a conservative type Aquarius, there's going to be a little something unique about them in the way that they like one ring, or whatever. um very friendly, um very friendly people, and typically, unless they're living through ego. um but yeah, very typically approachable, as long as we're not warding off interaction. And will make people feel like they're wanted and needed,
Hmm.
because if we're going to interact with you, it's genuine. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So now we can move on to
Oh,
do
wait, I
you
have some
yeah, do you
questions
have
for you for
questions?
the
Yeah,
Aquarius.
please.
Okay. If Aquarius was an animal, which one would best represent their energy?
um
It could be a sea animal, it could be a bird, it could be any type of animal.
yeah, I'm gonna say in the bird realm. And
Hmm.
it's funny because I've been listening to someone talk about the different constellations, and the bird constellations, more than I realized were named after birds, all seem to be in Aquarius.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
the reason I'm going to say that is because a bird is going to be, they're going to take an objective standpoint.
Bird's eye view.
Yeah, bird's eye view.
Yeah.
It's an air sign, so they're going to fly, but also independence. Like
Hmm.
Aquarians probably need more time to themselves. Like an intro, that's the definition of an introvert. We refuel our energy alone, and then we can be out
Hmm.
around other people, where an extrovert pulls in energy from people around them. Aquarius is different. We probably need 60 to 70% of our day alone. If given the opportunity, that would give us such a balance in our life, because then we could be alone in our head and not having to worry about somebody wanting something from us when we don't have it in our energy to give it. And like we're the we're really good about going running our errands alone. We can take ourselves to dinner, we can go to a movie. Like being alone is fine for us,
Hmm.
typically. um and so a bird, I think that seems to be like a bird's nature as well. Like birds definitely pair up and they're really good parents, and they're committed, but they also, they can fly away at any moment and get away. and
Right.
and I
Okay,
yeah.
love, burn. Then one more. If Aquarius could only live in one decade or century in history, which one would resonate most with their energy?
Okay. So I'm either going to go way back to ancient Egypt, but like probably pre-existing ancient Egypt as we know it.
Hmm.
And because that there was a lot of magic happening, and so much was pulled down from the ethers, and there was a lot of technology that doesn't exist anymore, and it would be a very telepathic culture and community. Okay.
Yeah.
Or we have to go way into the future, because Aquarius is about the future. We're always thinking about
Hmm.
the future. We're very involved in tech, and very forward thinking. And so I would say, you know, 2050 and beyond.
Nice.
you know, yeah. So either way back or way forward, and everything in between can be up to the other signs.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you want to talk about Gemini next? Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Do you have any questions about
No,
Geminis up
I
front?
think
Okay.
we dug pretty deep into it. I will say one of the things I think that we didn't discuss was our ability to cut things off. Whether it's people, experiences, outcomes, it doesn't matter what it is. Once that cord is severed, it is never coming back.
Once somebody has disappointed you and showed you, um, not disappointed, it's not the right word. Once someone has, once you have a lot, once an Aquarius has lost respect for a person, place, or thing, it can never be regained.
Yeah, it's 100%. There's no like, oh, maybe I should. No,
Yeah.
it's a black
And
or white.
it's not a judgment thing.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not at
we're not
all.
in this thing or this person is not in energetic alignment,
Mm-mm.
period.
Yeah, no,
Move
we
on.
like, and like in the middle of a sentence,
Yeah.
it could be like
You're like, okay, I'm gonna fly
mic
away
drop.
now.
I'm okay, enjoy your life.
Yes.
We'll never speak again. I'm totally okay with it. If you have any questions, email me, but
Right.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Uh,
Okay.
but I don't
Oh,
have any
oh,
other further questions
okay.
about Aquarius.
Aquarian. Okay. So every sign in general, one of the most compatible things, most ways to look at compatibility is you usually go two signs apart. So Aries or would be two signs before us, I'm sorry, two signs 2 months before us, and then um, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. That's two signs past us. So Aquarius is February, so then you go March, April. So Aries is a really compatible, mostly on friendship. We get our most compatible other element is fire, 100%. like air and fire work really, they need each other and they work really well together.
Fueling us.
Yeah, they fuel,
Yeah.
we can get into a lot of trouble with fire signs, have a lot of fun, a lot of laughing. Um, we we can match their energy really well.
Hmm.
And but we don't like to argue and we don't like to fight, and so that's where we will back off and you'll get nothing. So if you are looking for like compatibility, so air signs in general, if you meet a fire sign, you would need to know their whole chart, but that's going to be a good match for you. And also every two signs. So Aries, or if you go back to it's Sagittarius.
And Sagittarius more for like a romantic relationship, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
wait. So if you're looking to, if you want to date a Sagittarius female, go for it. If you want to date a Sagittarius male, you probably need them to be up to 10 years older than you.
Hmm, interesting. Okay.
Peter Pan complex.
Yeah.
So much fun. So much fun. Stinkers. And but you'll really Sagittarius is our best match.
Hmm.
Um, they're the sign of the philosopher, of the higher mind, of they're like a student for life. So that mental stimulation is there. And we like to try new things. And so we do have the tendency, we even though we really like to get out and do things and experiences and adventures, we can also be major homebodies. So having a fire sign friend is great for an Aquarius because it gets us out of the house to go do things, and they have the energy to like keep us going. So yeah, but if you're looking for a very compatible personality, Sagittarius is an extremely independent sign, sign of higher learning and mind, excellent conversationalist, really fun, loves to dance, very positive and optimistic and upbeat. And that vibes really well for us because we are too. They just express it more than us.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Aries is a really good friendship sign for us, one of the best. When I first started studying astrology, I always learned you're supposed to pick the opposite sign. For us, that would be Leo.
Hmm.
Leo is a wonderful sign for us, wonderful. But Leos need every 3 days, they need to completely cut off communication and decompress. And that's hard. We're really organized, so it's hard for us to make plans with Leos.
Hmm.
Leos are the most loving, loyal, like ride or die sign probably that exists. And we vibe so well with the Leo, but when they disappear, that that really screws us up with the not the disappointment. What did I say? Lose respect. It's hard. We have to remind
Make
ourselves not,
plans. It's hard to
yeah,
make plans.
well, and then we don't you don't want to lose respect for someone that you really care about
Yeah,
because you,
Aquarians are very
yeah,
like methodology,
yeah,
what's the word?
yeah.
Just
Method
like have everything P's and
methodic.
Q's, P's and
Yeah.
Q's.
Yeah. Well, because that
Yeah.
we're analysts, and so
Yeah.
we want steady data. We don't want to be bored. We do not
Yeah.
want to be bored, but we want to know
Structure.
if, yeah, structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and um fire signs have tempers, but Sagittarius has, they blow up and it's over in like 3 minutes and it's fine. And we can be like, no, you're just sagging, it's okay. Blow up. I'll see you
Yeah.
in 3 minutes. I don't care, it's fine. And they have such a great sense of humor that like you can make a joke about it and then it's over. Um, Aries, nope. Incredible friends, but they'll fucking fight you until you die. So like we just don't engage, which makes them even more angry. So as long as you can stay away from an Aries temper, that's an extremely compatible friendship sign. Um, and then Leos can have a pretty bad temper too. But you know, an emotional display for us is something like we end up watching it like a movie, which Leos love to be adored, so they don't mind. But anyway, okay, so I forgot to cover the compatibility part. Okay, so now to
Okay.
Geminis. So Geminis are fascinating individuals. They are, air signs are chatty And Geminis are the most chatty of the entire zodiac. They're ruled by um, Mercury, which is the sign of communication. And so they tend to communicate, like they're really good at communication on all levels. They might be writers. They might be in a job that has them emailing and corresponding constantly, answering the phone constantly, at the front desk, sharing information. They would be an excellent tour guide. Um, they're they are also an air sign, so they're a higher mind thinker. Geminis know a little bit about everything, and that's a good sign for us to have a conversation with. But I don't see a lot of Gemini and Aquarians constantly in like deep friendships, and it might just be because maybe the we're very similar in the sense that like we go off and think on our own, and so we don't offer each other enough um variety, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, it's nice sometimes to have people that are a little bit more emotionally connected
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
chat with because that kind of fills the gaps on my side.
Yeah.
Except if I'm talking to
Yes.
like another Gemini, we're just like up here too much.
Yeah. Like Prince is a Gemini. Geminis take situations and find, like Aquarians will find a true uniqueness in them. They also have, I can almost always spot a Gemini because they tend to have lighter colored eyes and wide spaced. And so do Libras. Libras have spaced eyes as well. But Geminis tend to have these like luminescent eyes where um, you just like you know that there's more going on in there. They are not the best at following up. Um, Super chatty, but like they have so like unless you can nail them down and know that they wrote the appointment down or they wrote the day that you're going to go hang out down or whatever, they can tend to get lost in how would you say that? They can forget appointments. I don't know how else to say that correctly. And it's not because they're very sincere, genuine people, but they can lose track really easily and really quickly.
Yeah, like the 3D tangibility of
Yeah.
integration is not as much as, let's say, like an Aquarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um like they won't always text back right away or at all. And it's never personal. I mean, until it is, but it's typically not personal. They're fascinating individuals because they do know something about everything. They're fun to go out and do stuff with. They there are two sides to them, like it is the sign of the twins, and so that might be another compatibility issue like with Aquarians where because we don't know which one we're getting, we might prefer one better than the other. I don't know. But that also gives um it doesn't give somebody a Gemini imposter syndrome. It literally gives them two completely different sides of their personality to fuel. And so when they slip from one to the other, it would almost be like having a second personality step forward. And that second personality might prefer certain foods or sound or comfort or whatever. And then when that one goes back and the other one comes forward, it might be a little confusing to get to know a Gemini
Interesting.
because you know, yeah, but they're super smart. They well read, well versed. Um, yeah, and just like if you're lucky at a party, if you're lucky to be standing next to a Gemini, you're going to have an interesting conversation. Mostly ideas, which we as Aquarians appreciate.
Yeah, every Gemini I've met is very like close to my eccentric type of nature.
Hmm.
Very dynamic conversations.
There tends to be some type of slight exoticness,
They're like otherworldly kind of,
elusiveness,
yeah.
uniqueness. They're really cool. Like they're good trendsetters, but it's not for
Mhm.
everyone. Like if you think about Prince, no one, there's never been anyone like Prince.
Hmm.
And the depths that he went with his music and his expression, and he would come up with like such unique um ideas. And like he one thing about him, and I would say Geminis in general, is they can share something and be very unapologetic about it, because they can see the they can they can see the value in it, and it doesn't necessarily matter if everybody else does, but they tend to just have this eye for things that are cool, and like, oh, I've never thought of that, but I've never thought to do that before. And so like I have a lot of appreciation for the way a Gemini mind
Very
works.
authentic expression.
Yeah.
Like this is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and just yeah, interesting. Um okay.
Oh,
Do you have
what about the difference between Gemini women and Gemini men, and then compatibility?
yeah. The the women the women are sexy. Like the
Probably that
women
the mystery,
the women have
that cool
that almost
mystery.
like that sorceress, or
Yeah.
like, like fantasy character,
Hmm.
um cool eccentricness, which people tend to be really attracted to, but
Hmm.
then once they get close, they don't know how to interact with that.
Intimidate.
And so yeah, so Gemini women are always kind of are able to maintain this air of mystery about them, which would really draw people in. But
Hmm.
then when they find out that that's always a component, not everyone knows what to do with that. And so, um, let's see, their opposite sign would be, I this used to be, I always used to know this. Would that be Capricorn? Because that would be the first month, and they're the sixth month. Wait, let me go to, so back would be Taurus and Libra, November, Scorpio. Oh no, I'm not. What's wrong with me? What's up?
I'm pulling up a zodiac wheel.
Yeah, what's opposite? I can't believe my brain is shutting down right
Oh,
now on
you're
the
good. Okay.
it's Scorpio and Taurus, and then it would be, oh, Sagittarius. Wait, Sag? Yeah, Sag.
Okay. Yeah. So two over. Okay.
No, six
Okay. So
over.
it goes Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces. So when you mean two over, do you actually mean three over, or do you mean like literally two over, like Taurus and then Aries?
Two over.
Okay.
So for friendship
So
and
Aries,
compatibility,
same.
yeah.
For
So
Gemini.
June, July, August. So it would say that like, yeah, for compatibility, every two signs.
Yeah, Aries and Leo.
So that's, and again, we get along really well with fire signs. And so I think that's going to be consistent for all, now that I'm thinking about it. I guess I forgot about that
Yeah,
part.
because of Libra, you've got Sag and
Yeah.
Leo.
The other thing I forgot to bring up before too, and I'll cover this at the end, is Aquarius is fixed, Gemini is mutable, and um, or they, yeah, they're
Cardinal.
mutable, and then cardinal is, yeah, okay. So mutable means easygoing and able to like go with the flow, able to adapt really easily and quickly.
Which one's
Um,
mutable?
Sag is, so am I right
Yeah.
to say that,
Oh, go ahead.
you know what, how about you do your homework before you come on to do this, Kimberly? Because this stuff is usually right here at my fingertips and I just know it, but I guess talking
Well,
about it
different
maybe.
information for different people. Like you're
Yeah.
really focused on like personality and compatibility and things like
Yeah.
technical aspects to zodiacs as well.
Yeah. No, but okay, so let
I'll
me,
pull it up. You go ahead.
okay.
You're gonna talk about Gemini men.
Yeah. So Gemini men, also very elusive. So they're very chatty, very friendly, easy to talk to, which a woman, if it's a woman seeking a man, a woman's going to appreciate, because they'll actually engage them and they'll have a lot of information. But you'll feel like you'll, in the same way with an Aquarius, it can happen. It'll feel like there's a ton of connection, because there is at that moment. And then the next time you see them, or when you try to follow up, or when you maybe if you don't set a date with them at that time, if you a few days later start texting, you're going to be like, wait, I thought we really connected, and again, it's not personal. It's just that they've met so many people and had so many experiences and been thinking about all these other things and have nine plates spinning at all times that like it's almost like you're going to get to know them again.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while to be on a Gemini's radar and stick and stay and stand out
Yeah,
because,
you gotta stand out.
yeah, they actually have to want something from you. You have to have something to offer them
Like
that they can't,
betterment in their lives.
yeah, that they
Yeah.
can't get easily because they're so capable of constantly finding information and finding new concepts and seeking something else, and they make friends so easily, so they're not needy or dying for someone to talk to them because they're so good at it. Yeah. Um, the opposite would be Sag, and that would be very compatible. Actually, that would be a very compatible combination as long, but it could also end up being a very stoic combination because a Gemini is might find a Sagittarius, the version of Sagittarius that's the student who might still live at home when they're 40 and have like three master's degrees. Like a Gemini is going to find one of those because there's so much brilliance to um, bring out and have these great conversations with. It might end up being a very cerebral relationship, and they could get lost in that, which is fine. If that's what you both want, great. But if you're looking for somebody to kind of wake you up and get you to finish what you started and get you to stay on task, I mean, you're not supposed to be finding that. You're supposed to be finding that within, but partners do help us. Partners do help us
So a
hold ourselves
Leo would probably
accountable.
be better.
Yeah.
More
Yeah. Yeah. A Leo would be good because a
more
Gemini,
passion and more
yeah.
more like humanism instead of like
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Geminis and Sagittarians both run on these independent, self-sustaining systems. And so they're going to be really fun to go do stuff with, but you could lack a um an emotional connection that you might be seeking instead of just finding someone else like yourself.
Mm-hmm. That makes
So,
sense.
yeah, so a Leo and a Gemini is not going to care too much if a Leo needs to check out every 3 days, as long as the Leo is not too jealous, because Geminis can make people really jealous really easily, unintentionally, because they're mysterious, they're elusive, they're very
Mm-hmm.
attractive, they have extreme charisma,
Very
and
magnetic.
yeah, and
Yeah.
a Leo that's gonna piss a Leo off. So yeah, it just kind of, yeah, like you find what draws you.
Yeah.
So
Questions about Gemini.
yes, yes.
If Gemini were a social media platform, which one would they be? As they are the communicators.
Hmm. Wikipedia.
I was not anticipating for you to say that. Love.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
I would
great.
say Wikipedia.
Um,
I know
it,
I didn't expect to say that either.
yeah, it totally is very spot on though.
Mhm.
Love. If Gemini had to live in one specific city forever, which one would fit their energy the best?
Even though I don't know much about it, I would say maybe like Tokyo, because
Okay.
it would be constant new technology, constant new
Very
things
hip,
to
very cool. A lot of people.
very cool, very futuristic, an opportunity to be a chameleon on constantly. You could
Hmm.
every day you could be someone different, and and also um there seems, even though there's a lot of people there, I think not showing your emotion and not having to engage deeply is appreciated. And so I think um, And there's tons of new inventions. And so I would say somewhere in that Tokyo adjacent type of, and there are towns like that in other countries as well. Like here it might be not Sacramento, where everything's made up in Northern California. What's my
Oh,
brain?
like the tech hub, like Silicon
Yeah.
Valley?
Yeah,
Okay,
Silicon
yeah,
Valley would be another um a place where Geminis would do well because they would be able to network and there'd be all this new tech and things to learn about constantly.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, we hop into Libra, and then I've got the fixed, mutable, and cardinal. We'll get that at the end.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Libra's cardinal. That's a starter sign, like a me first sign. So Libras, the first thing you're always going to notice about a Libra when they're in their power, when they're in their best self, is they are so polite and so welcoming. Like that is who you have standing at the door at an important event where your investors and people who are funding a company and all that, like that's who greets them at the door with a beautiful smile on their face. They're dressed beautifully. Their their head, like they're graceful. um
They're the
it,
diplomat, right?
yeah, oh amazing, yeah. Yeah, they're you feel good when you're around a Libra. Libras make you feel good to be in their presence. They make you feel wanted and important, and they invest a lot of energy into, yeah, like being a diplomat. Yeah. They're ruled by Venus. Almost every Libra, not all the time, but almost every Libra has dimples. And
Okay.
they might not even be the typical dimples. It could be like one back further, like, and Taurus is also ruled by Venus. My moon's in Taurus, and so I have a dimple that only shows up when I do certain expressions, but I have one. And same with Forrest. It's funny. My kid. So yeah, so Libras also have wide set eyes. They're very graceful, and they typically have good posture, and will look like, if they're not already into dance, they have a tendency to be a good dancer. If they're not already into dance, they might look like they've had a dance in their past, because they're just it it's called your plumb line. It's like this invisible line that runs down your head and it keeps your posture straight. They just have nice posture. And it all those things make them approachable. Like people, they're approachable type people. They put themselves in service to others and they're approachable.
They're very
They're
mindful about their what's it called? Like their body movements
mhm.
and like how they're projecting their energy, or is that something that's a little bit more unconscious? Or is that something that's kind of like at the top of the mind of a Libra of like it really matters to me how other people are interacting with me and seeing me, not from like an egotistical or people pleasing,
Yeah,
but like
it's
I really care about my presentation energetically and maybe even physically.
yes. And they're the sign of balance. And so I believe that they understand their part and their effect on others in every interaction. And so if they're welcoming, that means that the person on the other end is going to feel good and welcomed, and
Mm.
that they're approachable. So they're all about maintaining a healthy, positive balance in every interaction, relationship, event. They're really, really good event planners. We have our Shauna, who, like, they're the kind of person that could run a house. Like if they had if they were rich and they had this really big house, they would be really they would they typically don't do things from ego. And when they do, you'll see the moody side of them. And I'm going to cover that in a minute. But they would be an excellent person that run maybe not the owner of the house, but the person that run, like the personal assistant, but better than that. Like they would have a higher um
Like the house
type.
manager is what you would call, and they
Yeah,
run everything in
they would they would have
space.
beautiful relationships with every vendor. So they would send a Christmas card, or a holiday card to the landscaper. They would make sure that everyone, like if they have a cleaning crew, they would know everyone's name. They would greet them with a smile on their face,
Very mindful of others.
very mindful of others, very equal. Everyone would feel equal. No one would feel less than in their presence. Um, they remember birthdays and event, not even just anniversaries, but like if somebody like achievements,
Hmm.
they acknowledge achievements.
They sound like
Um,
the ultimate friend.
yeah, they are. And one of the things, they laugh a lot and they smile a lot, and so that also makes them approachable. Like they're also very chatty. They're an air sign too, and so they tend to be on, if not on the phone a lot, they have their friends that they talk to on a regular basis, and talking kind of helps them process information and get to where they want to get with an idea, whereas we keep a ton of it in our head.
Right. We're
Geminis and
more individualized with self to figure
yeah,
things out, but they're like, oh, let me mirror
they
what
yeah,
people have brainstormed.
Geminis are chatty, very chatty, but it's mostly just about ideas and stuff. They're too mysterious to share all their information, whereas a Libra will very much, they don't put it all out there, but they will, without ego and humbly bring up things that they're working on in a conversation to get your feedback and like mirror and grow through that
Hmm.
interaction. And um yeah, they also like to they like the good life, and so they tend to dress nicely, and they also like to go to events and like musicals and openings and galas, and they tend to be, most of them are attractive. Even if someone isn't, even if a Libra isn't a classic, what we would say is attractive, there's something about them that is very attractive.
They got good energy, you're mindful of others,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
exalting others, like it makes you very attractive, like
Hmm.
wanting the best for people
Yeah. The
and like
women,
him having the best experiences.
yeah, the women usually are attractive. They are usually attractive. Now there is a side, and I again, unfortunately, I see this more in men. And Libra men can be moody as fuck. Oh my God, they can be so moody. And you're like, we are fine. What just happened? I don't know. I've met so many of them that drop into this like moodiness to where you get stuck with it, and they're unapologetic about it. I don't really think I've seen that in Libra women, like when I'm thinking about the Libra woman I know, but I've seen it in most of the Libra men that I know. And it's such a disappointment because Libras are great, like they really are the people that you look forward to spending time with.
Well,
But
that
when
makes sense because men aren't really taught, like they're
yeah,
conditioned not to process their emotions or share them or, understand them. So
yeah,
like some of that's conditioning too, I'm sure.
yeah, yes, yes. And so like you'll be aware um when it shifts, it's like night and day, or like I swear the degrees in the room change when a Libra man gets moody. And it's such a bummer for the friend or the family member or the partner, because it would be in any situation. And of course, we all have the side to us, but yeah, it's just like you may talk to them every day during the week, and then you get to the fifth day and you're like, who am I talking to right now? Like what just happened? Where and it sometimes it's not even a specific event or something, just something shifts inside of them, and it's probably because they're out of balance.
Mm.
And yeah, like you said, like maybe the women are better at bringing up their emotions and talking it out to avoid getting there, you
Hmm.
know, or they're better at being able to take themselves away and work their shit out, running errands or doing something that like I know I have the tendency to get here, so let me go work this out on my own because I don't want it to affect those around me,
Right.
you know. Yeah, and yeah, the men, and you know who you are. The men just have this moodiness that is I've never read about it. Like whenever I read the sign, like I haven't read about it, but I've observed it, and it's a no fail. Yeah. But otherwise, they're the ones that you make plans with, and you go see the movie when it comes out, or the show, or the new restaurant opened, and they're never going to fail you in a public situation. Like you are, if you want to impress someone, you bring your Libra friend in to stand next to you. You're going to be better because your Libra friend is next to you. You're going to rise to their occasion.
Yeah, and they're in their highest energy when they're doing activities like that. So
Yeah.
like you really get to not feed off of that energy, but like bask in that
Yeah.
energy.
They can be good detectives too. They can have a tendency to be a good detective. Like they have the brain for it where they can decompartmentalize and really get into their head and shut everything out and pick something apart. And because they're the sign of balance, I would almost say they can get into the head of the perpetrator, but avoid emotionally getting stuck there
Hmm.
because they're still an air sign.
Yeah, compartmentalizing from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And their brain is good at solving mysteries and puzzles and yeah.
giving Sherlock Holmes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he was. Yeah.
Um, for compatibility, on the zodiac wheel, we have Sag and Leo.
Sag and Leo would be on, yeah. So
Hmm.
again, it's hitting both the fire signs. So it's reinforcing fire. And then their opposite is because they're the 10th sign. So is it Taurus?
Like directly across. I can look really
Yeah.
quick. So Libra, directly across is Aries,
Aries. Okay, yeah,
which
that's
is close
right.
to Taurus, but
Which is which is also a cardinal sign. So Libra and Aries do get together. They do find each other, but they argue so intensely
wait, you
that
said who? Libra
Li
and
Libra and Aries,
oh, and Aries. Okay.
and they're both cardinal signs, so they're both me first signs. They're both right. They're both starters, and they can tend to argue too much. Um, and especially if it's a Libra male and an Aries woman, it can be so combustible that it's hurtful. Because don't piss off an Aries woman. That's just like life lesson 101. And then the Libra man will sink into that moodiness, and
Hmm.
they'll just they do tend to get together. There are a lot of Libra Aries combinations that tend to get
Oh,
together.
interesting. Why do you think that they are attracted to one another so much?
Similarities and an
Oh, it being
Aries.
cardinal signs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
cardinal signs and a Libra will match really well with an Aries. Aries also dress really nicely. They're very presentable. They're also going to go to the restaurant openings and all that stuff. They're gonna be a power couple. They're going to be a very attractive couple. Um, but then there's the man. They can just bring the worst out in each
Yeah, it'd be
other
very
too.
intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like that, but it really has the it really can. And so, you have to decide which path you're on.
So would a Sag or a Leo be better for like a friend or a romantic partner
A
for a Libra?
Leo would be a really good match in the sense of they would have very similar what they want to attain in life. Like, I want something to show for my efforts. Leos are very in ego, Libras are not, but Libras do have they have a bar that's pretty high.
Hmm.
And so with that, in this life that we're living, materialism filters in. They are going to buy a better product. They are going to wear nicer clothes because their image is really important to them. But again, it's not for showing off as much as it
Yeah,
is.
like the energy that they're curating.
Yeah, and they have an eye for the finer things, and then it just comes with it. So they're the most put together air sign. And so Leo would definitely fit in that. Sages are very hedonistic, tree hugger, misheveled and fun. So a Libra can have a really good time with a Sag, but they might not be. they might not clean up well enough for a Libra. Um, they might not be presentable every time enough for a Libra. And so the Libra might end up just not being attracted to them in that way,
Hmm.
not in a rude way at all, but like that's they want someone that
Yeah, just different interests.
brings it. Like they show up ready to represent and match the high bar of the Libra. So an Aries they'll bring that, and a Leo will bring that.
But go with the lead.
Maybe go with the Leo, unless you get a really healed Aries that just has learned how to control their temper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I every except for you, every other important woman in my life is an Aries. I love Aries. I love Aries. Um, and I think they appreciate me because they probably get tired of fighting with everybody,
Hmm.
and then they don't have to fight
All right.
you
Yeah,
know.
you're their safe
But
space.
yeah, but yeah, it's because nobody wants the worst version of themselves to come out all the time. And so you have to understand why you're attracted to certain things. Like if you are attracted to arguing, you're not willing to do the work to get rid of the trigger.
Hmm.
And you're looking for a release that's actually going to ruin your relationship instead of finding it at the gym or the shooting range. Yeah, I don't I don't know how you would get rid of that much anger.
Yeah, finding some healthy outlets.
But I love Aries, and I'm love them. Yeah. Yeah.
Questions for Libra. If Libra was a fragrance, what would they smell
Oh,
like?
something that would make every single person in the room stop and just be enthralled.
Hmm.
So like the most beautiful, intoxicating incense you've ever smelled, but actually no. I'm sorry. Okay, no, let me take
I thought
that
of
back.
I know this is
It's
probably not as opulent as like you're probably gonna about to go, but magnolias came to mind because it has
mm-hmm.
just like this
Yeah.
very like encap cap
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Encapsulating
yes.
like vibe.
Yes, yes. But I'm going to actually go, it's got to be food based. Libras are really good, typically really good cooks. You'll almost always find a Libra in a kitchen and a chef as a chef. And they love to eat, and they love to eat like finer foods. And so I'm going to say a smell that like I bet every Libra's home always smells good when you walk in,
Mm,
and I'm gonna go with like an intoxicating coffee.
like a tiramisu.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a little bit of coffee, maybe a hint of dessert, an exotic spice, and
Mm,
then like a creamy lotion to bring it all together.
layered.
Like yeah, layered. Yeah.
Love. Okay. As Libras are the social butterflies,
Hmm.
if they were going to throw an iconic dinner party, which is so funny because you were just talking about
Hmm.
food. Okay,
Yeah.
they're throwing an iconic dinner party. Who is the first person that they would invite? Either
So
real or fiction
okay.
to make
Some
it even more iconic.
It's going to be someone that gets along with everyone, and someone that's not going to cause half the people to hate them and half the so it's not going to be a president. It's going to be someone who is innovative and probably created something fascinating, like
Like a Nobel Peace Prize
yeah,
winner.
a Nobel Peace Prize person, someone who has done a great service to the public, who is well spoken, who is um going to be able to interact with the guests, and probably get to every one of them at some point.
Gandhi.
Yeah, and then also bring in some donor money for whatever foundation or next event that the Libra is in charge of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love. Real quickly, we'll talk about the difference between fixed, mutable, and
Okay.
cardinal. And so, fixed, Aqua,
Yeah, that would be
mutable,
us.
Gemini,
Yeah.
cardinal, Libra.
Okay, so fixed signs are exactly what it sounds like. So it's us, Taurus, and Leo, and we are stubborn, but
And when
that's
she said we, she means Aquarians.
Aquarius, sorry. Well,
Okay.
yes, okay, sorry. Aquarius,
Yes.
an Aquarius fixed sign. We are stubborn, but it's because we know the answer. So we're know-it-alls, not as bad as a Taurus or a Leo. Tauruses are probably the most know-it-all. Um, but we back it up with we don't Aquarians won't speak on something unless we know something about
Yeah, I
it.
have the facts. I have the
Yeah.
receipts.
Yeah, we're not going to embarrass ourselves, or even we don't have the ego. We don't give a shit. So if we don't know about it, we're going to learn from you. We're like, "Oh, we're here to learn. Okay, tell me all the facts so I can run the data and store it." Um, but we are also our worst enemy because if we get fixated on something, it's really hard to let go, especially habits. Um, Especially if it's not good for us. We'll find a way to justify and work around it or find an alternative to it, but it's still the same type of input. Um, so God help us if we are, addicted to cigarettes or
Can
something.
I tell you something?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. As you know, I used to smoke, and then I just switched to a vape, and then periodically I'll just go get like a disposable vape sometimes. And
Hmm.
my body has just been like, we need one, we need one. I was like, we're not gonna do that because nicotine's not good for us. I went and got a nicotine-free vape.
Oh,
Like, but this Aquarius thing
yeah.
like tricked my brain.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh no,
You're,
this is fine. It doesn't have nicotine.
yeah. Pretty soon you'll just be rolling up a piece of paper and walking around with it.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we because we're creatures of habit because we're fixed signs. And so even though
Yeah.
we can solve like we can get rid of an addiction or we can solve a problem, but there is some type of association with it where it becomes this comfort habit or this I'm I 10 years ago I was really into something. And so that's something I okay, let me give you a better example.
It's like imprinted into
Yes,
your
imprint is
behavior.
the
Yeah, imprint.
perfect
Yeah.
word.
It's very easy to slip back.
When I was in junior high, I'm going to say 13, 14 years old, someone around us was smoking clove cigarettes. I think that's kind of when they got popular. And I love the rain. Okay. Two separate things that I'm about to bring together. So somehow we got a hold of clove cigarettes and then, we couldn't smoke them at home. So we were walking through the neighborhood because we couldn't drive, smoking clove cigarettes. And so very often when it rains, I want a clove cigarette. I don't
Mm.
smoke, but it's this memory, it's this core memory that I have of enjoying something and also related to it. And I'm a fixed sign, and so I have a fixed memory of like something associated, something in addition to the rain, there's this other thing that I enjoyed with it. And so now those two things are married.
I get that. I think as Aquarians as well, like there's not like a whole lot of things that pique my interest. Like it's got to be
Mhm.
very like hyper specific or very like woo-woo esoteric, right? So when I find something I
Yeah, it's down
like
the rabbit hole.
that
Yeah,
imprint is there forever.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and also we get stuck with being a fixed sign, we get stuck with following through and almost it becomes this physical tug or pull to this thing because we're fixed, because we've decided that we're going to do this. When it starts to not work, we'll still try to do it for a few more hours or a few more days until we accept that it's just not going to
Yeah,
work.
you're like hyper focused on it.
Yeah, but we're in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's hard to get us to sway and and it's also one of those inconsistent things about our personalities because we're really easygoing. We're pretty much down to do whatever, we're to try whatever unless it's, ethically not something that we agree with. And so we're easy, we're fun, we're easy. And then so some people get to know us that way and then they bring something up that is one of our hard no's and they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, you sure?" And we're like, "Nope. Yeah, nope." Like if we decide that we don't like one of your friends, we'll never make plans with you and that friend again. We're not we're not needy enough, we're not codependent enough, we don't need your approval enough, and we're not willing to be around someone that irritates the hell out of us. We're just not um polite enough to have to bear that person that we just can't stand. And it's not that we hate them. I don't think Aquarians hate very many things at all. Like hate's such a strong emotion. Like why would we bother with that?
Well, nobody wants to be conflicting energies. Like
Yeah.
you also like don't want to be a person in that room that's not vibing with that other person
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. Well,
You're
and if
right.
somebody's like, well, you don't like them, just stay on the other side of the room. No, because I am going to hear their voice and I'm going to be irritated when they need all the attention or whatever. And it's not even like okay, some people show up for that. Like some people love to be the people that drop into comments and say shitty things because they love the engagement of trolling. We are not those people. So we would rather just pretend that doesn't exist. That over there doesn't
What
exist.
I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna argue with somebody.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Yes.
you have your truth and I have my truth, and
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yes. And that's the fixed part of us too. Like we are
Yeah.
not going to sway from that. And so yeah, and being manipulated by people trying to manipulate our emotions. Yeah. Yeah, that would be that.
Let's get into mutable Gemini.
Mutable. Okay.
Yes.
Mutable is um if you could if you start a business and you could pick a bunch of mutable signs to like you could hire 75% mutable and then you would pick a combination of cardinal and fixed for the other part, you would have a very well run business because mutable shows up for synergy. So
Hmm.
mutable creates flow states. Mutable is agreeable. Mutable doesn't get thrown too quickly unless it's one of their hard no's. Like mutable go
More about flow
more about flow,
vibes.
and they're also not going to fight you on everything. They're not going to they don't okay, so I'm an Aquarius with 5 planets in Sagittarius. But so I have a very mutable personality, especially because my rising is Sag, and that's the mask you wear in public or the part you show first. And so I'm very adaptable. I'm very
Hmm.
mutable. Um, I can
Okay with change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't always have to be, I don't have to pick the rest. Well, okay, that's different. I'm vegan, so I do have to pick the restaurant. But um if somebody, okay, so my friend and I, hey, let's go for a walk. Cool. I'll say, where do you want to go? I don't care where you want to go. I want to go on a walk. I don't care if it's to the moon
All right, that's the
or
fixed part. Where
yeah,
this is the mutable part.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so like so mutable is like um sure, that sounds great. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, okay. And of course they have their self, you know, they're not going to wear something that they don't want to wear. They're not going to listen to music that they hate, but they're going to blend and not fight you on every plan that you make,
Right, more
you know?
open.
And so having a bunch of them in your business is great for synergy, but they're not good self-starters and they're also not good at following through. And so you need the cardinal self-starters and the fixed, hey, we need to finish this. We need a method to this. And then you put the minions, like the show, the cartoon, the minions, the happy, like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, sure, you want us to go, okay, you
It's a
want us to
Gemini.
start this? Okay, you want us to finish? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're gonna like, where did they go? And then they're off like on a new adventure learning something. And yeah,
Love.
but yeah.
Cardinal with Libra.
Cardinal with Libra,
The self-starters.
self-starters, boss energy, running the show energy. Libras are diplomatic, so they're good at it. Um, uh, you're going to do, it's going to be smart of you. Like a Libra would be a great person to open a business with, and then you can hand the reins of decorating to them because they have a keen eye and they know they're going to be like, we're going to decorate this in a way that when someone enters, they feel welcome. The colors are soothing. It smells nice in
The
here.
vibe curators.
Yeah, they're good vibe curators. They think of they're going to engage the five senses with a high bar and um like yeah, with a high bar and also in a very agreeable but not overwhelming way.
Yeah. The energy, the aesthetics, the intentions, just taking
Because
everything like the bigger scope
because
into
they're thinking of everyone when they're creating something. And and if you let them stay in charge, which you should, they're going to be, like I said before, they're going to acknowledge everybody that's part of it. They're going to thank everyone. They're going to remember everyone's name. So that's Libra in particular, but Cardinal in general just is really good at running the show. And as long as their ego isn't the reason, Cardinals are excellent at being in charge. Yeah.
Okay, as we finish up here, if you were going to describe all three of these air signs, what is one word that you would use to describe each sign?
Um, Gemini, I would say busy, which doesn't sound like anything that I described before, but definitely busy. Libra, I would say etiquette.
Mm,
And Aquarius, I would say, like, can't use alien. Everybody says alien. Aquarius, I would say, what would you say for Aquarius?
I would probably use the word eclectic.
Yeah.
I know it's a little overused with Aquarians, but I think it's very fitting. Eclectic, not
Yeah.
just like outerwear, but with our thinking.
No, that's perfect because Aquarius is probably the only sign that has the most eclectic personalities in it.
Right.
Yeah. Like we're
You could
weirdo.
you could meet 100 Aquarius, it'd be completely different.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a similarity in there, but
Sure.
there's, yeah, and it doesn't mean that other signs aren't varied. It's just that we're so different that it's kind of hard to put a
I think it's
blanket.
the individualism,
Yeah, so
like
eclectic was
that part
actually a
on
really good
that.
word. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, tell everybody more about what you do if they want to work with you further, book a session,
Oh, sure. Okay.
what you
So
support
I,
with, and where
yeah,
people can find you as well to do so.
the easiest way to find me is Instagram. And if you're not an Instagrammer, just message on this video and one of us will give you an email address. Um, I have been gifted the ability to be an energy healer, and I do it through light language, and I'm an activator. So if you have been on a, if you're at the beginning of your journey and you want like your woo journey, your beginning of your ascension journey, and you really want to activate it and just kind of throw yourself in like 100%, and you really want to, okay, you don't have to be a newbie, but if you, I can help you reconnect to your dormant DNA, remember who you are. Uh, we we go into sessions that typically last an hour, hour and a half. I go in through consciousness. I go in and channel information about your chakras and get them aligned, but I also bring up your blocks and any traumas that you've gone through, things from your childhood, things that you have brought throughout your lifetime and still define yourself with, where you just need to let those things go and step into your power. And so if you are looking for an experience like that through energy healing, we do it on Zoom. Um, and I have access to the all. And so I channel information throughout the entire process. And I guess like another word for it would be psychic or
Or like an
mediumship.
open channeler.
Yeah, but I am filtering through you. So whoever I'm working with, your guides and your higher selves are communicating with me, and then I am mirroring that back and sharing that back. And so I'm really accurate. Um, and I don't read minds. I just have access to information because at in that hour and a half, you've openly are sharing it, and then I am bringing it up and helping you release it and getting rid of blockages. And I'm really good for the people that say, I got really far, but I just feel like I'm blocked and I can't, like, I want to turn on more of my abilities, but something's holding me back. I am able to help wake that up, I guess. Yeah.
You can find Kimberly on Queen of Swords for Hire on social medias, and I will also put it in the description down here below. I will say, Kimberly is my bestie. And she is one of the most proficient energy healers, psychic, and channelers that I know. Like she will gather you together. Okay. While
Yeah.
while helping you remember your multidimensionality and activating spiritual gifts and just understanding yourselves on deeper depths and helping you create so much forward movement. You're very wise, very funny, as you have seen throughout this chat.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable on a lot of things, not just astrology, but just esotericism and the metaphysics. So if you want to create a lot of forward movement in multiple areas of your life, go see Kimberly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
she be getting me together.
But one of the other things that I'm lucky that I'm good at is once we've met, I always tell people like we're connected now, you know. So in my experience leading up to at the beginning of my ascension journey, I found some very wonderful people, you being like the third person I found. And now you and I are different because we're friends, but when I had these experiences with other people, it was very personal, very intimate. I learned a lot about myself. It was opening all these doors. And then as soon as we were done, it was over.
Hmm.
And it leaves you with this feeling of, wait, I've been seeking this. I finally grasped it. I finally got it. You gave me all this information, but like, that's it. Right. So, what I tell my clients is, oh, we're done, but we're not like, you are
I'm still
welcome.
accessible if you need
Oh my
it.
gosh.
Yeah.
I usually say do it on Instagram because it's just easy, but message me. Tell me when you have like a really cool dream. Tell me when some of the stuff we talked about manifests. Tell me, ask me a question because you share this. I could meet with somebody a year ago, and when they contact me and they're like, "Hey, during our conversation, you brought up this, da 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 da," I am able to go right back
It's
in
the
and
Aquarian file system.
yeah, and like see it, actually see the vision that I shared
Yeah.
with them, and
Hmm.
like be able to give them some more information. And it doesn't take a lot from me. It doesn't end up being this like all day conversation or anything. I can just go in, retrieve some more information, and share it back to you because you're
Hmm.
basically giving it to me anyway. And so I think that's really important. And I think that sets us aside as channelers and energy healers because so many, not to be negative, but how else do you do this? So many people are in this because they have a little bit of, we're all multidimensional and we're all very capable. That don't ever forget that. Everyone has everything that Sage and I can do, everyone can do. You just have to decide that this is for
No,
you,
you want to
right?
do it. You can teach yourself to
Yeah.
do it or re-remember how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do believe there are a lot of people who want to do this so badly or just want to turn this into a business. And they do have a little bit of to offer and they do show up authentic, maybe for the session, but then they could care less afterwards. It's more like a transaction, like sitting at a restaurant and once the meal is over, it's done. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like that with me because I know how important it is. This is such an unusual journey that we're on. And when you're in this conversation, when we're in this conversation together, we're really present and it's all vibing and making sense. And then you go back to your regular life and you go through imposter syndrome, doubting yourself. Why would I ever think that I could do this? I want access so bad, but I can't, there's no way it's possible. You can share, you don't have to share those specifically with me, but I don't shut the door after. And so you're not left abandoned and wondering, I'm not saying that I keep a mentorship. Um,
Yeah, you keep the energy
yeah,
cords.
you're good with that.
You
You're
keep the
good with,
energy cord slightly open, but that's also why we can retrieve information from like three
mhm,
years ago from a session, is because we
yeah,
don't like fully close them down.
mhm,
Try and be as accessible as I can. Like obviously I can't
yeah,
message everybody back immediately.
yeah,
Ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer it for you.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And if you want a mentorship, sign up with Sage.
I do mentorships.
Yes, Sage is wired very well for that. Yes.
Yeah, it's the Aquarian Capricorn energy.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't who I am today is so much because of you, because I
Oh,
wasn't I wasn't this before I met you,
I could
you
say the
know.
same thing though. You have really helped
Yeah.
me develop into the person I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we're emotional. We're
Yeah, look at us. Bees in the middle.
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, so yes,
Okay.
please anybody ask me a question, look me up. I'm here. I well, by the time this comes out, it'll be the end of January. I'm going to have a lot of availability in February. And
Perfect.
I book on Calendly and my sessions are $111. I don't expect to ever make them more than that. I do ask for 115 now because there's a PayPal and Venmo charge a service fee. But that's it.
Awesome.
That's it. I'm I'm
We
a I'm a deal.
we are going to continue with our chat, and we're going to do fire signs, earth signs, water signs. And so this is the first of the series. And so we will see y'all next time. And thank you,
Yeah.
Kimberly, for
Yeah.
taking us on this journey, educational journey of the
Into
zodiac. I have learned so much today.
the
Yes.
astral and the astro. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
taking us on the magic school bus of the zodiacs.
Mhm. Well, this was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.